Hello, dear students. Uh, a warm good afternoon. And This video is for the students of BBA6 semester, and the subject is international marketing. And as in the last video, we have ended at uh, the discussion about World Bank, and we have already discussed about its structure, its organization, and in this video we are about to discuss about different lending programs and guarantee programs of World Bank in support of promoting international trade. So starting with the lending programs, uh, there are numerous types of lending programs run by World Bank for supporting international trade. By these lending programs, World Bank support member nations for establishment of infrastructure so that so that it will result in development of international trade. The first kind of lending program of World Bank is investment lending program. The purpose of this lending program is development of development of social and institutional infrastructure in the member nation so that the employment of such nation can be made conducive of uh, investment to be made by private sector. So this lending program supports various kinds of policy reforms in the member nation which which may give rise in future investments by the private sector. The investment lending loans are available to uh, those borrowing member nations which are not in areas with the World Bank group. Now, in the coming section, we will deal with the various kinds of instruments which are used as investment lending program. The first one is specific investment loans. These loans are provided to member nations for development of economic, social, and institutional infrastructure so that sustainable development and growth can be maintained in these countries. The second instrument within investment lending program is sector sector loans. These loans are provided by World Bank to support and facilitate the expenditure policy of member nations and policy reforms to be brought in line so that the member nations government policies and objectives can be achieved. The third instrument within this lending program is innovation and learning loans. These loans are given for the pilot projects. Pilot projects are those projects which are the testing kind of projects, and if they are found successful, or if their running is successful, then these projects are further supported by financing. The next instrument in Investment lending program is technical assistance loans. These loans are provided by the World Bank for promoting and establishing institutional infrastructure, and they also give advices for organizational arrangements so that appropriate organization is set up. The last in this discussion, last here means that the last instrument under investment lending program is adaptable adaptable loans, adaptable project loans. These kinds of loans are phased loans. Phased loans means these loans support long-term projects, and loans are provided phase wise, phase wise, and the successive phases are financed, or the finance of successive phases depends upon the performance of previous phases. The next kind of lending program by the World Bank is structural programmed structural adjustment loans. These loans are provided by the World Bank to support the reforms of member nations. The instruments used within these lending programs are as follows. The first one is structural adjustment loan. These loans are intended to support structural reforms and focus on the trade policy of borrowing nation, public sector development, private sector development, and other relevant policies for the overall growth of economy of member nation. The next one is a special structural adjustment loan. These loans are provided for supporting social reforms in those countries which are about to reach a crisis or which are already in crisis. The next kind of loan is rehabilitation loan. These loans are provided to the governments of member nations for making conducive environment for private investments, so that the flow of foreign exchange can be increased, as well as employment can be generated for the overall growth of nation. In the next part, we will deal with the guarantee provided by the World Bank to borrowing member nations. The guarantees provided by World Bank for promoting financing, or to promoting finance in the member nations for infrastructure development. By giving guarantees, World Bank covers the risks associated with various kinds of debt financing. The risk is covered by World Bank and the private lenders. there are three types of guarantees which are provided by the World Bank to member nations. The first one is project based partial risk guarantee. In this kind of guarantee, when the government when the government moves from operator or owner to regulator or purchaser of the service by the borrowing member companies organization, then such guarantee is given to deal with anomalies of debt financing. The second kind of guarantee is project based partial credit guarantee. All the credit related risks are covered under this guarantee. The third kind of guarantee which is given by World Bank is policy based guarantee. This guarantee is given by World Bank for supporting debt financing in the fields of social, institutional, and economic reforms to be taking place in member nations, and it also improves member nations access to capital markets for generation of capital. Dear students, from for now you must have been aware with the objective behind formation of World Bank and the various lending programs of World Bank in support of international trade promotion in member nations. In the upcoming section, we are about to deal with the lending principles or policies of World Bank. There are some of the uh, policies of World Bank which is followed by them before lending to member nations. These principles or policies have been designed in Article of Agreement of World Bank. These principles are as follows. The first principle is that the World Bank has to properly assess the repayment capability of the borrowing nation before providing any kind of financial assistance to them. The second principle for lending is that they should finance only such projects which are of high priority projects and which will prove very much beneficial for the economic development and growth of member nation. The third principle is that there is no agreement related to uh, expenses to be made after financing by the member nation in a particular country only, which means the borrowing member nations are free to purchase or acquire resources where it's available at the cheaper cost. The next principle, a guiding principle for lending, is that the World Bank continues a healthy advisory relation with the borrowing member nations. They keep an eye and from time to time provide advice to borrowing member nations on the projects which were financed by the World Bank. The next and important principle, guiding principle of World Bank regarding lending is that they only assist the borrowing nation to meet the foreign exchange content of their investment requirement. And the last principle is that in their agreements with the borrowing member nation, they give importance to local private companies for the resources to be acquired for project development. So, dear students, this was all about the World Bank, how it was formed, what are its objectives, what are the lending programs, and what are the guiding principles behind these lending programs. Hope you will like this video and it will help you in your studies. Thank you.